stay at my house, I suggested, because it was already getting late. Let's not involve adults in our friendship, he said, smiling and wrinkling up his nose. But I have to go. Your grandma is sleeping soundly. She's not going to miss you if we talk for a while. Once again he surprised me and made me admire him. How did he know about my grandma? Then I remembered that he was an extraterrestrial being, and that he could read my mind. That's not all, Jim, he said, after picking up on what I was thinking. From my ship I saw that she was just about to fall asleep. Then he exclaimed enthusiastically, let's take a walk on the beach. He jumped to his feet, ran to the edge of the very high rock and jumped off. I thought that he was going to kill himself. Frantic, I ran over to look down into the abyss. I couldn't believe my eyes. He was descending slowly, gliding like a seagull, his arms extended in the air. But then I immediately remembered that I shouldn't be too surprised at anything done by that happy, extraordinary child from the stars. I carefully got down from the rock as best I could and joined him on the beach. How do you do it? I asked, referring to his incredible glide. By feeling like a bird, he responded and began to run happily along the surf. I thought that I would like to act like him, but I couldn't feel that free and happy. Yes, you can. Once more he had read my mind. He came over to encourage me and exclaimed enthusiastically, let's run and jump like birds. He took me by the hand and I felt a surge of energy pass into my body. We began to run on the beach. Now, let's jump. He was able to jump much higher than I and pulled me up after him. He seemed to hang suspended in the air for a few moments before his feet hit the sand again. We continued running and every now and then we jumped. We're birds, he cried, encouraging me, making me feel giddy. Little by little I stopped thinking the usual way, I was changing into a different person. Encouraged by the extraterrestrial child, I was deciding to be as light as a feather, little by little accepting the idea of being a bird. Now, up. Marveling, I could tell that we were beginning to stay in the air for a few seconds. Gently we descended and continued running, only to rise up in the air again. Each time we were doing it better. That surprised me. Don't be surprised, you can do it. Now. With each try it got easier. Illuminated by the moon and starlight, we ran and jumped along the edge of the waves like a slow-motion scene in a movie. It seemed like another way to live, another world. For the love of flight, he encouraged me. A little later he let go of my hand. You can do it. Yes, you can. He kept inspiring me as he ran beside me. Now. Slowly, we leapt up, staying in the air for a few seconds and then beginning to fall very gently with our arms extended, as if we were gliding. Bravo! Bravo, he congratulated me. I don't know how long we were playing that night. For me it was like a dream. When I felt tired I threw myself on the sand, breathing hard and laughing happily. It had been fabulous, an unforgettable experience. I didn't say anything out loud, but inside my head I was thanking my strange little friend for having allowed me to do things that I had thought impossible. At that time I didn't know just how many surprises that marvelous night had prepared for me. The lights of a larger beach resort sparkled on the other side of the bay. Delighted, my friend contemplated the shifting reflections on the dark water. He was deliriously happy, stretched out in the sand, which was bathed in bright moonlight. Looking at the full moon, he laughed, "How wonderful! It doesn't fall. This planet of yours is really beautiful." I had never thought about it, but now that he was saying this, "Yes," I thought, It was beautiful to have stars, the ocean, the beach and a beautiful moon suspended there, and, what's more, it wasn't falling. Isn't your planet beautiful? I asked. He sighed deeply while looking at a point in the sky to our right. Oh, yes, it's beautiful, too, but all of us know that, and we take care of it. I remembered that he had insinuated that we Earthlings are not very good. I thought that I understood one of the reasons. We don't value our planet or take care of it, they do take care of theirs. What's your name? He thought my question was funny. I can't tell you. Why not? Is it a secret? Go on. It's just that the sounds don't exist in English. What sounds? The sounds in my name. That surprised me. I had thought that his language was English too, and that he just had a different accent. But then I remembered that even here on Earth there are hundreds or even thousands of different languages and dialects. In the rest of the universe there would have to be millions more. How did you learn to speak English, then? I don't speak it or even understand it, unless I have this, he replied, while he took an apparatus from his belt. This is an interpreter. This little box explores your brain at the speed of light and transmits what you want to say to me, and when I'm going to say something, it makes me move my lips and tongue like you would do, well, almost like you. Nothing is perfect. He put away the interpreter and began to contemplate the sea, pulling his knees up to his chest as he sat on the sand. Is that how you know what I'm thinking? Of course. Although I'm also making progress with my telepathy. What should I call you, then? I asked him. You can call me Amishimshima, which is my language means friend because that's what I am, a friend of everyone. Ha, ha. I laughed really hard when I heard those strange sounds. I'll just call you Amy. It's shorter and it sounds like a name. Do you like it? He looked at me happily and then exclaimed, "That's perfect, Jim." And he gave me a hug. At that moment I felt that I had formed a new, very special friendship. And so it was to be. What's the name of your planet? Whoa. The same problem. There are no equivalent sounds, but it's over there. Smiling, he pointed towards the stars. While Amy was observing the sky, I started thinking about all the Space Invaders films that I'd seen on television and at the movies. When are you going to invade us? I asked him. He thought my question was funny. Why do you think that we're going to invade Earth? I don't know. In the movies the extraterrestrials always try to invade Earth. Are you one of those? This time he laughed so loud that it was contagious and I started laughing, too. Then I tried to justify what I had said. It's just that on TV, of course, the television. Let's see one of those Space Invader films, he exclaimed while extracting another apparatus from his belt hoop. He pressed a button and the screen lit up. It was a small color television with an amazingly sharp, clear picture. Amy changed channels rapidly. What was surprising was that, even though there weren't very many stations in that area, a whole bunch of them appeared on the screen: movies, live programs, news shows, commercials. The shows were in all different languages spoken by people of different nationalities. How could he get so many stations without subscribing to a cable company? The films about Space Invaders are really ridiculous, said Amy, amused. How many channels can you get there? All of them that are transmitting at this moment on your planet, all of them. Naturally. This apparatus receives the signals picked up by our own satellites, which are invisible to you people, of course. Here's one from Australia. Look. On the screen appeared some creatures with octopus heads and multiple, bulging eyes crisscrossed with little red veins. They fired off green rays at a crowd of terrified human beings. My friend seemed to be having a good time watching this film. What a laugh! Don't you think it's funny, Jim? No. Why? Because these monsters exist only in the monstrous imaginations of the people who invent these films. I wasn't convinced. I had spent too many years seeing all kinds of scary, evil space invaders. That idea couldn't be wiped out in one fell swoop. But if here on Earth there are iguanas, crocodiles, octopuses, why couldn't really ugly creatures exist in other worlds? Oh, that. Yes, of course they exist. But they don't construct ray guns. They're the same as here, they're animals. They aren't intelligent. But maybe there are worlds where evil intelligent beings live, evil intelligent beings. That's like saying, bad good people or skinny fat people or ugly pretty people. Amy was laughing his head off. I just couldn't understand. What about the crazy, evil scientists who invent weapons of mass destruction, the ones that all the cartoon superheroes on TV fight against? Amy could read my mind and explained, they're not intelligent. They're crazy. Well, then it's possible for a world to exist that's full of crazy scientists who could destroy us, other than those of the Earth. Impossible. Why? Because crazy people destroy their own civilizations before reaching the scientific level necessary to abandon their own planets and invade other worlds. I didn't completely believe him. I thought that it was possible that some planets could exist that were inhabited by crazy people who weren't all that crazy. I mean, people who are intelligent, cold, scientific, efficient, and, at the same time, cruel and evil. He, of course, knew what I was thinking, and to him it was really funny. And where are all those intelligent monsters who are so cold and so evil? How come they've never invaded and destroyed any earthly civilization? He asked me, with an innocent look on his face. I thought for a while before answering, but couldn't find any examples of extraterrestrial evil in our history, except for those modern stories of alien abductions and X-Files. Come on, it's all book and film selling fantasies that you believe in spite of a complete lack of proof. Cosmic paranoia, he added, laughing. I thought he was right, but, anyway, I wasn't all that certain of the innocence of all the inhabitants of outer space. There were probably good ones, like Amy, and bad ones, too, just like on Earth. He tried to reassure me. Believe me, Jim, in the universe there are filters which keep out the undesirables. Up there is not completely equal to down here. When the civilizations of the universe reach a certain level of development, there are no more horrors and the people are not as bad. Are you completely sure that there is no civilization that's scientifically advanced, but cruel? All I can tell you is that it's much easier to develop the technology necessary to build bombs than it is to build intergalactic spaceships. If a civilization without wisdom or kindness reaches a high level of scientific knowledge, sooner or later it will use that knowledge against itself. That will happen way before it would be able to travel to other worlds. Luckily for us, but they could survive on some planet, by chance. He said that the universe is the reflection of a perfect, superior order and that nothing happens by chance, because everything is interconnected. And he also explained to me that when the scientific level of a world exceeds its level of love by too much, that world self-destructs. Level of love. I could easily understand what a planet's scientific level is, but the idea of level of love was hard for me to grasp. The love that the human beings on a planet radiate can be measured by our instruments, he said. Really? Sure, Because love is an energy, a force, a vibration, and if a world's level of love is low, there is unhappiness, hate, violence, division and war. And if, at the same time, there is a high level of the capacity for destruction. Do you understand what I'm saying, Jim? Not really. What are you trying to tell me? I have to tell you a lot of things, but let's go slowly. Let's continue talking about your doubts. He knew that I continued having doubts about the intelligent, evil monsters. Too many movies. Amy exclaimed and then added, the monsters that we imagine are within ourselves. As long as we don't let go of them, we won't deserve to reach the heights of the universe, full of marvels that are there, waiting for us to elevate our eyes so that they can reveal themselves. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand you, Amy. The evil beings are neither intelligent nor beautiful. But what about those beautiful, bad women in the movies? Either they're not beautiful or they're not bad. I've seen some that are bad, but at the same time they look real good. Maybe they look good to you on the outside. But what about on the inside? For us, true beauty has to be joined with intelligence and love. If it's not, we don't consider it genuine beauty. I didn't much agree with his way of seeing things, but I didn't say anything. Do other bad people exist in the universe, other than those on Earth? Well, in the first place, we don't divide people into good and bad. Some are more advanced, some, less. That's all. All right. Then, do beings who have advanced as little as those here exist anywhere else? Of course. And many who are much less advanced, as well. Worlds exist where you couldn't survive for half an hour. 1,000,000 years ago there was a real inferno right here on Earth. And there are worlds inhabited by real monsters. You see. You see. I exclaimed triumphantly. I was right. You just admitted it yourself. Those were the monsters I was talking about, but don't worry. They are below you, not above you. They inhabit worlds much more backwards than this one. Their coarse minds keep them from even discovering the wheel. They'll never arrive here at this rate. That was comforting to hear. Then, we Earthlings aren't the worst inhabitants of the universe, after all. No, but you're one of the silliest ones in the galaxy. We laughed like good friends.